Oklahoma Career Tech. It's where confidence is built.
It's more than just practice. It's developing the skills to build a successful future.
We're doing work that matters.
To more than just us.
So, when a family needs me,
when my community needs me,
When Oklahoma needs me,
I'll be ready.
Hello and welcome, football fans, to the Squirtle Pay Dirt Pick'em Show. I am your host, Andy Campbell, and I am joined tonight by Tom Nelson and Mark Rogers, the voices of Squirtle, as always, to discuss Week 8 of the Oklahoma high school football season. Jacob Dieselhorst couldn't join us this evening, so we have Michael Swisher filling in for him, the voice of the Kingfisher Yellow Jackets. And we also have two special guests tonight, Coach Riley Littlejohn and Mr. Shane Feely. Riley is in her 6th year of coaching and currently serves as the head girls basketball coach at Bixby High School. Coach Littlejohn is a Locust Grove graduate and former college basketball player at ORU, and she's led her team to 3 state tournaments and over 100 wins in her 5 years of coaching thus far. Coach, good to have you on the show tonight. We also have Shane Feely. Shane coached high school boys basketball for 20 years in northwestern Oklahoma, including the 2007 Class A boys state champion Okeen Whippets. Mr. Feely is currently the high school principal at Okeen. Coach Feely, good to have you back on the show. We have 2 Squirtle games of the week. This week, it's Boys City at Okeen, which is a school network game of the week, and also Bixby at Mustang. So we'll talk about those games in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and dive into our Squirtle network games this evening. We're going to start the show off in 4A District 4 with Coach Brandon Tyler's Sallisaw team, who is undefeated in district play. The Black Diamonds travel to Poto this week to take on the 6-1 Pirates, whose only loss came to district foe Ada in early October. Tom Nelson, who gets the win in Poto on Friday?
Well, the top of 4A District 4 is loaded. Ada, Sallisaw, Broken Bow, and Poto at 6-1 or better, and this one is huge for playoff positioning. Poto has dominated this series over the past decade or so, but Sallisaw changed that narrative last year. They won 14-7, and the district coaches picked Sallisaw ahead of Poto before the season. Sallisaw has also been a little more impressive against common opponents, so I'm going to go with the Black Diamonds in this one.
Mark?
My name is Oscar
I think the Poto's been they've scored quite a few points, but they've let some teams hang in the game with them. They had a close call earlier this year with Stillwell. I was very impressed with the Sallisaw team that I saw earlier. They also went on the road and beat Broken Bow. That was a big win for them. I'm going to go with Sallisaw here, the Black Diamonds over the Pirates.
Shane?
I'm going to differ here on this one. I think both teams are having a great season, and I just think that this is going to be a really tight game, and I think I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to take Poto in this one.
Riley?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of Coach Feely. Through my research, I've heard that Poto's tough to beat at home, so I'm going to go with Poto.
Michael Swisher?
Yeah, normally this guy is the guy who sets the line for the games. I don't have his formula. He didn't send it to me, so I'm not going to be setting any lines. So I'll just try to come up with something for each game here. Moved to Alabama when I was 14 years old, and always, came back to visit. Generally, there was a stop in Sallisaw, and one night we stopped there. It was middle of the night. I'm in an old conversion van. My parents went inside to a store. I wake up, they're gone. And I take a little sip of my stepdad's Dr. Pepper. Well, it turned out it was his spit cup.
Oh.
So when I think of Sallisaw, I remember that's what I think of, is taking a sip of the old spit cup.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth.
Needless to say, I never had the desire to dip. Despite that, for some reason, I'm going to go with the Black Diamonds. I know that it's a tough place to play at Poto, but I'm going to go with Sallisaw on this one.
All right, we'll go to pick'em game number 2, 3A District 1. Kingfisher is 3-1 and tied for second in district play. The Yellow Jackets will host North Rock Creek this Friday. The Cougars are 2-2 in district play and need a win to steal a playoff spot. Mark Rogers, who gets the win in Kingfisher on Friday?
Well, I would like to congratulate Swish on hair, makeup, and lighting. It's the best that I've seen this year for anybody, so I didn't know that there was that big a budget there at the Kingfisher Free Press. So well done. Looking good, Swish.
Yeah.
Just because of that, I'm going to go with Kingfisher to improve to 6-2 this year.
Tom Nelson?
I got to give Coach Roof at Kingfisher a lot of credit. He took over a not-so-great situation a couple of years ago, and he's got the Jackets back to where they belong. They're in the playoff mix, near the top of the district. with road trips to Anadarko and Plainview coming up, this is a must-win for them. And it's also a must-win for North Rock Creek. They also play Anadarko and Plainview after this week. Basically, there are 5 teams playing for 4 spots, and somebody's going to get left out, most likely going to be the loser of this game. These games have been close the last couple of years, but I'm rolling with Kingfisher on this one.
Shane.
Well, I'm gonna go with Kingfisher. Give you a little bit of background here. The guy calling the plays is a former Whippet. Brady Wardlaw is calling the plays now for Kingfisher, and he was our quarterback that led us to a state title in football. He was our point guard that led us to a state title in basketball, and he was a part of a runner-up track team. He's a winner, and I think based on common opponents and looking at what they've done this year, I think I'm going to take Kingfisher over North Rock Creek.
Coach Littlejohn.
I'm also going to take Kingfisher over North Rock Creek. I just think that them at home and it being a must-win matchup, they're gonna win it.
All right, let's go to the voice of the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, we know where Swish is going on this. He's going North Rock Creek.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Cougars. Yeah, I'm not going to pick this game, obviously, but Shane makes a great point. Brady Warlaw, of course, Derek Patterson steps away, so there was a void on the coaching staff. Brady was a great hire. He worked with Coach Roof at Bethany when he first got there, and Coach Roof was able to talk him away from his brother over at Minco. He's been a great addition, and just watching him out there, he's got head coach material. He's going to be a head coach somewhere at some point whenever he's ready. And but yeah, this game is important to both teams. Kingfisher can still get a home game in the playoffs if it can find a way to win out. It can miss the playoffs if it loses. So it's very important for both teams.
Watch that game for free on Squirtle app, Squirtle.tv, KingfisherSports.tv. Be sure to mute Michael Swisher for the best viewing experience. His team is fantastic. You just want to mute it when Swish is talking.
No argument.
All right, let's go to Class A2 District 1. The Thomas Terriers are undefeated 7-0, but travel to Yukon to take on the 5-2 Southwest Covenant Patriots. An upset for the Patriots in this matchup would really solidify their playoff chances. Thomas, meanwhile, travels to Mangum to take on the undefeated Tigers next week. But Tom, tell us about this matchup. Thomas at Southwest Covenant.
Yeah, to say the Terriers are a bit untested is kind of an understatement. They're 7-0. Their closest game was a 28-point win over Sayre to start the season. They have not played a very tough schedule. That's going to change next week, as you said. They go to Mangum. Southwest Covenant's pretty good, too, and if Thomas doesn't watch out, they could get an L. But I think the Terriers are not going to look past the Patriots, and Thomas will get to 8-0. Mark?
I thought Texoma had a pretty good team, and Thomas handled them very easily. I think last week. So yeah, the Thomas Mangum game is the game of the year in that district. Both of those teams have a chance to win a state championship this year. They'll be chasing Tallahena, who was the runner-up last year. But I'm going to go with Thomas. I think Thomas fairly comfortably.
Shane Feely.
I've got Southwest Covenant losing to Texoma and Mangum in the previous weeks, and Thomas has defeated Texoma. I've seen Thomas's athletes up close last year, and they've got a really good group. While they might be untested, I believe they were going to take down Southwest Covenant this week.
Riley.
I'm going with Thomas as well.
Michael Swisher.
Yeah, I had a great uncle who lived out in Moorwood, which is kind of somewhere between Leedy and Hammond. So to get there from Dover, had to go through Thomas. And there's this place called the Big T, and I always wanted to stop there. Just kind of an iconic looking drive-in place. Never got to stop there when I was young. Feely probably ate there a bunch at some point. I don't know. But later on, I started dating a woman who lived in Leedy. Drove through Thomas and decided I'm going to stop at the Big T. It was the most disappointing burger I've ever had in my life. That was decades of buildup. And I'm sure it had changed hands 17 times in the years, but definitely wasn't some Didier Ranch beef that I had that day. But the Thomas Terriers will not disappoint. They're really good this year. I think they've got a chance to win it, and they're definitely going to pull this one out.
Swisher's stories have been on point so far in the show. Have been very, very impressive. Let's go to Pick'em game number 4, Class 2A2, District 2. Beggs is 4-3 overall, 2-2 in district play. The Demons will host the Colgate Wildcats this Friday. Colgate is 2-5 overall, but fighting for that fourth playoff spot. Mark, who gets closer to a playoff berth with a win on Friday?
I would say that will be Beggs. This is a tough district. This district that Beggs is in, along with Davis, Holdenville, Dibble, is going to be tough to make the playoffs. But I think Beggs is the team that does do that in advance.
Tom.
Yeah, this is a pretty easy one for me. Colgate won 2 games against teams that are now 1-6. They got hammered by Davis last week. The Golden Demons have really good tradition. They've got Jordan Wesley against Comanche last week. He had a receiving touchdown, 2 interceptions, and forced a fumble. Also returned a punt for another touchdown. So him and Ethan Davis and the quarterback are putting up great numbers. So Beggs, they've just got too much, and the Golden Demons are going to roll.
Shane Feely.
I agree. I think Beggs is going to take this one. I look to the common opponent, Community Christian. Beggs won that game pretty easily, and Colgate lost a close one to Community Christian. So I'm going to take Beggs.
Coach Littlejohn.
I am also going to have to go with Beggs. My time in Okmulgee County, you're not really rooting for the Demons, but I am going to pick Beggs on this one.
All right, Swisher.
2013, Kingfisher's pretty good playing at Beggs in the state quarterfinals. It was the year before I started streaming games, before I came the voice of the Yellow Jackets. Back then, I was just the writer of the Yellow Jackets. And my crew, the crew I went with, we went to eat somewhere before every game. None of my guys had ever been to Ron's Hamburgers and Chili. So I think we kind of went the long way. We went to Glenpool. I got a buddy named Wolf, and when he goes, he doesn't just get the hamburger and a side of fries. He gets the chili sausage cheeseburger with jalapenos and the chili sausage fries, or the sausage chili fries, cheese fries with jalapenos. He does it right, and because of that, he has his own pregame rituals before the game starts. You can imagine what it is. And we get to Beggs, and the town has no water. Like, they had to shut down the town's water. You can't go to the concession stand to get anything that's not already in the freezer or refrigerator. More importantly, you can't use the restroom facilities. So it was a rough night for my buddy Wolf. Yellow Jackets won that game. They went ahead and won the state championship that year. That's a long way of saying going with Beggs, and this one they're playing at home. I'm not too sold on Colgate. Think the Demons are going to get it done.
I don't really know how to follow that story up. But all right, whole entire panel taking Beggs and Pick'em game number 4. Let's move on to Class 2A1, District 1 for our next Pick'em game with Millwood at Chisholm. The Falcons got a big upset win, 24-22 at previously undefeated Mount St. Mary's last week, and now travel to Enid to take on the 3-4 Chisholm Longhorns. This game looks like it could be very important as the winner likely gets into the playoffs. Tom Nelson, which team gets a win in Enid on Friday?
I've got to say, I'm feeling pretty good about myself because I just had a large chili cheese fries with sour cream and onions from show sponsor Brahms, and I'm feeling 100% right now. So I think, but you talk about Millwood Chisholm, you're not used to seeing Millwood sitting at 2-4, but a brutal schedule and a young team's going to do that to you. But they're getting better. They showed that by handing Mount St. Mary their first loss of the season last week on a late field goal. On the other side, Chisholm has gone the other direction since I saw them against OCS. They've lost 3 of their last 4 against the top of the district. And if they don't beat Millwood, they probably aren't going to make the playoffs. Millwood beat Mount St. Mary by 2. Mount St. Mary beat Chisholm by 48 3 weeks ago. Chisholm hasn't beaten Millwood in 11 years and have lost 11 of 12 in the series all time, and I can't go against those numbers. I'll take the Falcons.
Mark?
I think Tom's right. Millwood's going to be better as the year goes along. They had 2 bye weeks to open up the season, and then they go Heritage Hall and Jones, and so this and OCS, the 2 districts in the west side of the state in 2A Division 1, District 1 and 2, are off the charts good. So you got Jones, who I have ranked number 1. We had that game in Marlow last week with Washington and Marlow, and that was a knockdown drag out. I think that could have really gone either way. So Class 2A Division 1 is going to be a lot of fun to watch this year, but I'm going to go here with Millwood over Chisholm.
Shane Feely.
looking at Chisholm's scores, they've either gotten smoked or they've smoked somebody. Been very inconsistent, and there's just really been no middle ground with them. I think Millwood obviously hasn't had a great year by their standards, but a lot of times that doesn't mean anything with Millwood. They get tested regularly down there in the city, and I think they're going to win out the rest of their regular season. I'm going to take Millwood against Chisholm.
Coach Littlejohn.
I'm also going to go with Millwood. I just think with the tradition-rich football program that they have, as well as I heard that they had a kid or two that may have transferred out earlier in the year, and I think as the season goes on, they're going to fight through that and get better. So Millwood.
Michael Swisher.
I bet you wish I'd mute me myself there, Andy. About 7 years ago, I went to watch Piedmont at Chisholm in volleyball, and I'm leaving, and I have this buddy of mine named Adam Dieselhorse says, "Hey, won't you stop by this place and eat with Will Jones and I?" Place called the Flamingo Lounge. So I met him there, changed my eating habits forever, whenever I go to Enid. That was a magical night, and so now I can barely go to Enid without having Flamingo Burger. I got Adam Dieselhorse to thank for that. No knock on Brahms. I got a Brahms here in Kingfisher I can eat all the time though. Millwood's too much for Chisholm. You guys set all those comparative scores. This is Millwood's turning it on. Chisholm's going in the wrong direction. Falcons going to win easy.
Flamingo, always a good choice. Win in Enid. Let's go to Pick'em game number 6, B1 District 1. Oklahoma Bible Academy and Enid 6-1 on the season after a 30-14 win against Pioneer last week. The Trojans travel to Laverne to face the 5-1 Tigers on Friday. The winner of this game will have a good chance to win that district. Tom Nelson, tell us about this 8-man game.
Well, it's funny because the OBA Pioneer game was Thursday afternoon, and I didn't realize that. I thought it was Thursday night. I get a bunch of texts late Thursday afternoon, kind of talking about, oh, nice pick. Well, I'm sitting there thinking, well, yeah, let's see what happens tonight, not knowing at the time that the game was over and that I had picked a Pioneer to beat OBA, and of course OBA pulls off a nice win. It's time to take the Trojans seriously. Chris Kayott, he's rebuilt a team that was 1-9 last year. He's got them sitting at 6-1. Their only losses at Sealing, but their schedule's backloaded with Laverne, Pond Creek Hunter, and Garber standing between them in the playoffs. And Laverne's 5-1 record includes a 4-foot win over Sealing and a really good win over Hollis. Coach Kayott was the head coach for 5 years at Laverne. He won a gold ball back then in 2016 with them. OBA is going to give Laverne a fight, but it's hard to go in there and win. And speaking of food, I love the concession stand at Laverne. On that alone, I'm picking the Tigers.
Mark?
There's been a record number of forfeits this year. I just learned today that Seminole had to forfeit a game to Bristow, a district game, which is a little bit different than forfeiting a non-district game, which is what Laverne got a forfeit win over Sealing. Props to OBA. I picked against them last week. They go to 6-1. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. But I think that if this game is in Enid, might change my mind, but having to travel to Laverne, I'm going to go with the Tigers here to get the win. Just a tough team, great tradition, very difficult to beat.
I remember saying last week, I said OBA needed to find a way to win 2 games down the stretch, and they got that one last week. And yeah, they've got the tough part of the schedule, but if they can win one of those 3, they might not beat Laverne, but PCH and then Garber at the end, they've got a really good chance to win one of those 2 games now. I'm feeling a lot better about them this week.
Shane, OBA at Laverne.
OBA's only loss to Sealing. There's no shame in that loss. We've seen Sealing here at O'Keene, and they have a tremendous team. Also, OBA is coached by Chris Kayott, a Whippet alum. He was the quarterback of our 92 state runner-up team that fell in the finals to Crescent, and he's done a great job with that program. I picked against the OBA girls in the state tournament last spring, and I was totally dead wrong about that. And I've faced a lot of passive-aggressive comments on the Book of Faces for that.
I know what you're talking about. Passive aggressive from OBA.
Yeah.
I know all about it.
My bad. I missed that one. That being said, I'm going to take Laverne.
All right. Let's go to Coach Littlejohn.
I'm going to also have to go with the Tigers. Swish, did you have any pickled eggs at the Flamingo?
Never, ever, never, no,
Try
never.
them. They're pretty good.
No, you're tougher than I am. I can't do that.
Swish, OBA, Laverne.
A couple of years ago, I'm at OBA for regional cross country over by the stands waiting for the award ceremony, and great school. They've got game time, Tom. They're using game time and hear Tom's voice and just kind of waiting for them to announce the winners and what song comes on at Oklahoma Bible Academy. Running with the Devil. That pops on, so of course I got to pull out the old phone and get a video of the OBA sign and Running with the Devil playing in the background at the cross country meet. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. But little known fact, Jet Muggenberg from Okarche has absolutely nothing to do with this game. Has nothing to do with football, but his late great grandfather, Melvin Mosley, is from Laverne. And Jet knows a little bit about state championships. Laverne knows a little bit about state championships. Laverne Tigers is the best team in this game. Laverne's going to win this game.
All right, let's talk about our first Squirtle game of the week as we go to Class B2 District 1. The Okeen Whippets are 6-1 overall after a dominating performance against Canton last week. The Whippets' only blemish on the year, as Shane mentioned earlier, was that defeat at Sealing a couple of weeks ago. Okeen now hosts the undefeated Boys City Wildcats. They are 2-0 in the district, but have not yet played the top three teams in B2 District 1, which Sealing, Shattuck, and Okeen. Tom Nelson, give us a preview on this matchup.
Well, doing my homework on Boise City, this may be the best start they've ever had, at least in the past 25 or 30 years. They're 7-0. Last time they had 7 wins in a season was 2009, but they might not get another win. Okeen, Sealing, and Shattuck to finish the regular season. They can lose all three and make the playoffs for the second year in a row, though. The Whippets are really good. I saw them a few weeks ago. Ace Long, William Woolley, Ben Cheap on offense, Harley Carbs laying the hammer down at linebacker. On the defensive side, I don't see the Whippets having too much trouble with Boise City.
Mark.
I think Tom is right. I can't remember ever having seen Boise City 7-0 before. Ridge Arthod, two-way player for them, running back and linebacker. Cash Desbian is their best lineman. They're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to win one of these last three. I just don't think it's going to be at Okeen. So I would like them in a game against Shattuck, and I think this team is for real. It's tough because the difference in second and third in the district is huge. Since, wherever Boise City has to travel or somebody that would be coming to them, it would be a massive advantage in the first round of the playoffs. But I really like this Wildcats team. The Whippets are going to be too much, though. They bounce back and get the win this week.
All right, we're going to go to Okeen principal, Shane Feely.
Well, last year we had to travel out there, and I'm just thanking my lucky stars that we don't have to drive out there again this year. Boise City does have a really nice group of young kids. We saw them in football and basketball last year. Ridge Arthod is a really nice player on both sides of the ball. He's their best player. But the toughest part of their schedule is coming up with Okeen, Sealing, and Shattuck. That being said, we're a little bunged up right now. William Woolley went out in the third or fourth quarter at Sealing with a shoulder injury, and he did not play against Canton. Ben Cheap went down in the second quarter against Canton, and I would say he's questionable. I wouldn't say he's out, but he might be questionable. They've got some kids to play. I do think they will make the playoffs, and I'm going to take the Whippets, or I'm not going to be able to come to school tomorrow. So go Whippets.
All right, let's go to you, Coach Littlejohn.
I'll stand by Shane and take the Whippets.
Going with Okeen, Michael Swisher.
Yeah, I used to, time or two, I played in the Okeen Town Team tournament back in the old gym that probably Feely coached in. Maybe played against Riley's dad. Maybe played against Hardaway. Maybe before I really knew these guys, maybe played against a diesel horse or two. I remember we played a game late on Friday night, and we had an early Saturday morning game. And so that the smart thing to do when you do that is to take the really long way home back to Kingfisher. And so that made Saturday morning really, really tough. And I think that's when I had to play against Hardaway and maybe Torrey and all them. Didn't go so well for us, but I do think it's going to go really well for the Whippets. They're going to get back on the winning track. It's been a good run for Boise City, but like you guys said, schedule picks up now. I think they get in the playoffs, but I think it's not going to come at O'Keene's expense this week.
All right.
I just thought about this, and I should have done this when I was out there for the football game a few weeks ago, Coach Feely. I should have had you show me the new gym. I want to see. I haven't seen your new gym yet. I mean, how old is it now? 4, 5, 6 years old, and I haven't even seen it.
5 years, I think, and
Yeah.
it is beautiful. They did a great job planning it out, and I hated that we left the old gym, but progress is worth it. It's a great gym.
I need to get out there and see that sometime. I don't get to O'Keene near as much as I used to.
Yep.
Entire panel taking the Whippets for that school network game of the week on Squirrel. Those guys, that crew out at O'Keene does a great job every Friday night on Squirtle. Let's go to our second Squirtle game of the week. This is the big one, 6A Division I, District 1. The Bixby Spartans are 7-0 and fresh off that 92-0 win against Enid last week that's been much talked about this week. Bixby will travel to Mustang on Friday to take on the 5-2 Mustang Broncos. Mustang's 2 losses were both on the road at Broken Arrow and at Jinx. Mark, can the Broncos, probably the best team in the West, pull off the upset at home on Friday?
Best team in the West is a tough discussion. I think Mustang is in it. Edmond Memorial is in it. So there are quite a few teams that could, and it's the parity has been up and down. Bixby's going to win this game. It's a mismatch, I think, to me in the trenches up front. Mustang is loaded with good skill talent, and that's no disgrace to those guys. It's just that Bixby is incredible. They're a machine. I think most people that know anything about the game last week with Enid know that Lauren Montgomery and Bixby did everything they could to keep the score down. If you look at the number of offensive plays that they ran, the number of defensive points that they scored, the amount of time that their starters played, all those type of things. So, I mean, I know maybe you just look at that score and snap call and say somebody was running it up, but wish Enid the best and kind of getting their rebuilding, going with their program. But Bixby's just that good. Carson Kirby, 24 touchdowns, 1 interception so far this year. They're averaging 8.8 yards per carry in the rushing game. They play a ton of guys, and that's one of the reasons I think that they're able to reload every year is they get a ton of experience. So looking forward to calling the game, but I think Bixby's going to be the winner of this one.
Tom.
Yeah, I've spent the last 4 or 5 days on Facebook on the Enid sites, basically defending Bixby to all the Enid moms who think they ran the score up on them and said, you can't do, Bixby, 3 pick sixes in the ball game. I mean, you can't tell your players, especially when it's, 3rd and 4th string JVers not to play. And Enid's just got to get better. And that's pretty much about anybody Bixby plays. The average score of a Bixby game is 66-12, and that includes throwing in the 35 points that they gave up to Jinx. Take that out, and only Owasso has scored more than a touchdown on the Spartans. Mustang beat Moore by 1 point a month ago. The next week, Bixby beat Moore 81-6. Bixby's on another level. They can name the score.
Shane Feely, let's go to you.
Well, I agree. They're simply amazing, and I don't see any way Mustang beats them. Let's not forget the Spartan cheerleaders. They were fantastic on Saturday Night Live years ago. I'm going to take Bixby in this one.
Let's go to Bixby coach Riley Littlejohn.
Obviously, I'm taking the Spartans probably for the rest of the year. I would arguably take the Spartans against a lot of teams in the nation. I think it'd be fun. We kind of joke with the football coaches, like, isn't it time to go play, one of these other top dogs in the nation and quit playing, all these teams in Oklahoma? And so I think that that's coming, but they are phenomenal, and just the program that Lauren has built is something that is just, you admire it, from the gym, and you want your program to kind of look the same. And you have conversations with him. Well, how can we make our program more like yours, and this, that, and the other? And obviously it's a different animal and it's been a long time coming, but much respect to him. And like you guys mentioned, the whole drama of last week, I think the reason that they keep it rolling is because our JV kids are getting more minutes than our varsity kids most nights. And they get JV games tonight, and then they're also going to play 2.5 quarters on Friday night, every single Friday night. And it doesn't matter who they're playing. And so that's how it's kept rolling, and obviously just a testament to what Lauren has built.
How do the varsity players handle that? I mean, knowing they're going to play 12 minutes.
I think that they're just excited for their teammates when their teammates get to go in. I also think, it was like 27 to, I don't remember.
I think it was 44-0 at the quarter.
Yes, it was. 44-0 at the end of the first quarter, and that was the last time Presley and Kirby and Tyler Wright was on the field, And so I think they know, and I think Lauren kind of sets the standard of you're going to get, very little minutes, so you better go make it count, and they do, And I also think that in practice, they build this competitive nature every single day that's really where they're getting better each week is practice. So.
All right, Swish, tell us a story.
Andy can relate because he's the JV host of this show and he gets reps each and every week. And the real starting host of this show, he rarely comes on and helps out.
Just trying to get better, Swish.
So you're the Bixby
yes.
of the Squirtle Pick'em show. So congratulations there, Andy.
Thank you.
I don't really have a good story. I went to watch my niece play basketball in the Bixby tournament a couple of years ago. She's a junior in college now. So about 3 years ago, and they were playing the toilet bowl game. I forgot my pass, so I paid $10 to go watch my niece play in this horrible, horrible basketball game, and I'm still bitter about that. For that reason, I'm going to take Mustang to get beat very badly this week.
There you go. Hey, before we pick any of the other football games that we're going to talk about tonight, Coach Wiljohn, I'm going to put you on the spot. Your team is playing in the Tournament of Champions coming up here in a couple of months that are going to be live for free on Squirtle. Tell us about your team and what to watch out for the Lady Spartans for this upcoming season.
We finished in the quarters last year and lost to somebody that we had beaten in a couple overtimes earlier in the year. So that was kind of a hard pill to swallow, but our kids got better, and we only graduated one off of last year's team, and I think that they've grown this summer. We just saw tremendous growth from some of our kids that were sophomores last year, going to be juniors this year, juniors last year, going to be seniors this year. We have a tremendous senior group with a lot of leadership, and that's been something these last couple years, my time at Bigsby, that we've lacked. We just haven't had great leaders. We haven't had a lot of seniors these last couple years, and so we finally have a senior class that is ready to lead and kind of hungry for more, and it's adamant everyday practice. But I've got a kid that's going to Lindenwood. I've got another Division I kid that's uncertain on where she's going still, and then we've got a kid that's going to Northeastern, our point guard, and then Brooklyn, she's a senior this year, about a 5'11" kind of guard forward, and she's undecided still. But we've got a lot of college level players, and they're just great kids and hard workers. They'll run through a wall for you. So that's been extremely fun to coach. And as well as high level basketball players, they play a lot of AAU and they're self-motivated. And so that's been also a fun on my part. So.
Well, thank you for that. Look forward to watching your team play in the Tournament Champions, and best of luck throughout the entire season. Obviously, us at Squirtle, we have a great relationship with Bixby and Coach Montgomery. We do the 7-on-7. Been doing that for over 10 years now. So really appreciate Coach Montgomery and the hospitality that Bixby always shows Squirtle, and we have the 7-on-7 during the summer. So
6 surgeons, 4 locations, 1 goal: to improve the health and lives of people in Oklahoma. At Oral and Maxillofacial Associates, we treat every patient like family. As the preferred dental implant and oral surgery specialist of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and with over 30 years of service to our community, we are trusted by professionals and dedicated to expert care. With 4 convenient locations around the metro area, we are here for you. Trust the experts at OMA. Visit our website, www.omaok.com.
All right, we've discussed our 8 Squirrel Network games. We're going to quickly discuss 4 other games of interest in the state of Oklahoma this week. We're going to start with Sand Springs at Muskogee. Mark, we'll start with you.
Muskogee's coming on after a real tough start to the season against quality competition. A couple of very good teams in Arkansas. Rogers, Arkansas, one of the best teams in that state this year. I'm going to go with Sand Springs. Sand Springs. This is all of a sudden, you get the defending champs Choctaw with a couple of losses to Putnam City and Stillwater. PC's got a big game coming up against Stillwater. Sand Springs has had a bunch of these same kids that have played for the last couple of years, including their quarterback, and maybe feel like they can get a shot at winning a state championship there for the first time, I think, ever in football. So I'm going to go with the Sandites against the Roughers.
Tom.
Yeah, Sand Springs has been especially impressive so far. They've given up just 1 touchdown in 5 games after losing to Bixby and Owasso to start the season. Muskogee last 3 weeks over Putnam City, West Bartlesville, and Capitol Hill, 187-0. It's a tough pick and should be a good game. Muskogee's won the last 3 in the series. They're at home, and that's just enough for me to pick the Roughers.
Coach Feely.
I noticed the same things here. Muskogee's defense has shut out their last 3 opponents. Upon further inspection, Sand Springs shut out those very same opponents. Muskogee was Sand Springs' lone district loss last year, so I'm gonna go with the Sandites. I think they have an emotional edge to take down Muskogee, so I'll take Sand Springs this time.
Coach Littlejohn.
I'm going to go with the Roughers. My brother-in-law is on the sideline for them, and so we've been to multiple Muskogee games when I'm not at the Bigsby football games, and they did have a rough start, but they played some really good people those first few games, and so they're gonna. I foresee them winning out the rest of the year. I think that they can make some noise in the playoffs. They are young, so I don't know that they will win it all, but I do think in district play they can definitely win out. So I'm going to go with the Roughers.
Swish.
Before my pick, I want to point out that I did have the pleasure of interviewing both of our guest pickers after they won state championships. Coach Feely, that was both of them for Coach's aide. Back Coach Feely, that would have been just straight up writing a story. Coach Littlejohn, when you won yours, I think we were doing Big House Live back then. So I don't know what year was that, Coach Littlejohn, that you guys won at Locust Grove?
15, and it was right after the game, like over on the side. So I think it was.
Oh yeah. We didn't give you a chance to catch your breath, really. We just pulled you over and made you go live on the camera. But yeah. So anyway, a lot of fun back in those days. I'm going to go with Sand Springs. I think they're the more complete team right now. Muskogee, give them another year or so, and they're going to be right back where they were.
Yeah, Swish will appreciate this. I'll bring this up right now. It's like, and it seems like I've been seeing a lot of coaches and people on the show that I called their games when they were in high school. And in Riley's, when she was at NOC Enid, I was one of the voice of the Lady Jets and went on those bus trips and ate Charlie's chicken and all that stuff. So, but just makes me feel really old, get older and older.
All right, let's go to our second game. Collinsville at Pryor. Mark?
Pryor has Brandon Ward, another top-notch quarterback in the state, playing for the 3rd year as a starter. This is a team that really is pointed to this season. They do not have a ton of they don't have a ton of tradition. They've never made a state championship game, but this team is loaded this year. Stetson Matheson leads the team in tackles. Tyler Bellows, a sophomore that's making a lot of plays. They got a brand new stadium this year. I'm going with the Pryor Tigers over the Collinsville Cardinals.
Tom?
Yeah, I kind of piggyback on what Mark says. These two teams have played every year since 2011, and Collinsville had won 12 straight until last year when Pryor got them, what a ball game, 37-36. I think Pryor wants this one because it's all coming together for them this year. They want to play Del City in 2 weeks for the district title. They want to be 9-0. I think the Tigers get the win and run their streak against Collinsville to 2. So I'll take the Tigers.
Coach Feely?
I don't think Collinsville has enough scoring punch to hang in the fight, and so I'm going to take Pryor.
Coach Littlejohn?
I'm also going to go with Pryor. One of our football coaches, but he's also one of my assistants during basketball season. He graduated from Pryor, so I sent it to them and was like, okay, what do you guys think on these picks? Anyways, and they told me Pryor, so I'm going to go with Pryor.
Coach Littlejohn, phone to friend there. Michael Swisher, let's go to you.
Yep. No story here. Going with Pryor. Sorry, Scott Kiker. Long live the inner circle.
Hey, before we go to our next pick'em game, Tom, sorry to bring up something so personal here, but this is going to be likely your last show of the year. Obviously, we love having you on, but I don't know if you want to tell the people what you're about to embark on. And
Well, about 8 months ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. And at first we thought it was really bad. And then no cancer is great. But after thinking it was pretty bad or really bad, we kind of found out it was not quite as bad. And there was a chance for me to get better. So let's see, 8 months of chemo I've been on. And starting next Monday, I'm going to a Stevenson Cancer Center in OKC, and I start a stem cell transplant process, which by the time we get in there and spend the first week extracting stuff from me, and then the next week they give me a day or two of really, really strong chemo that's going to knock everything out, basically have no immune system, and then they do the stem cell transplant. And then I spend the next 3 months basically staying away from anybody who has any kind of sickness because I have no immune system. I can't catch anything. And it's funny because I was sitting there thinking, oh, yeah, by Christmas I'll be fine. Yeah, I got a feeling it may be a little past Christmas before I'm fine. But the key is they try to get this in remission. And I'm seeing lots of good positive stories about people who are out racing bikes and climbing mountains and stuff like that. So I'm never going to do that anyway, even if I was healthy. Just get me back on the golf course. But next couple of weeks are going to be interesting, and then the next 2 or 3 months after that will be interesting as I try to stay healthy and stay alive, I guess. So, yeah, but I think I did my last game last Thursday. I'll probably won't hopefully see you during basketball season sometime in February, maybe.
we'll be praying for you, Tom. We'll be thinking of you, obviously, and be missing you on the show. So best of luck, and look forward to having you back for hoop season.
Yeah, I'm not going to come back on the show because the big dose of chemo, they told me I'm going to lose every bit of hair on my body, and I don't want you guys to see me like that. So I'm not coming back till I grow hair. So,
I don't know how this works with the picks with you and Mark. Since you're kind of missing the last 6-7 weeks of the season, I don't know how Mark's going to feel about that. If your picking percentage is better than his, we're going to have to figure this out here.
I'll take my, well, I was around 80%, but I didn't have a very good week this last week. So I need to catch back up, and I'd be happy to end it at 80%. So we'll see.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom's up on me a few picks. So I think that he's more than welcome to send in picks if he wants or whatever, however that goes, or I'll be happy to concede this year's picks championship to him.
You know what? I might send some in for you. I tell you what, that'll give me something to do.
I like it. All right, guys, our last two games to pick tonight. Ada at Broken Bow. Tom?
Now, Broken Bow's got to have this one if they want to win the district after I lost to Sallisaw 3 weeks ago. Graydon Howell and Jatarius Neal at quarterback and tailback they've been a hard tandem for anybody to stop for an offense that's averaging over 460 yards a game. Ada's 7-0. They're giving up 26 points a game against pretty good competition. Ada's won this game the last 3 years. But they're facing a bunch of savages with a lot of experience and confidence, and I'm going the other way. I'm going to pick Broken Bow in a close one.
Mark?
I like Ada. Brock Boyles has got a ton of experience at the quarterback position, and Ada was behind Hilldale last week, but they came back and, rapid fire scored a ton of points. Cron Richardson has had a couple of games over 200 yards rushing. He had one last week, 227. 3 touchdowns as they beat Hilldale, who's a pretty good team that in this district is just probably going to be on the outside looking into the playoffs. So I'm going to go with the Cougars over the Savages.
Coach Feely?
Both teams have really good offenses, and I foresee this being a kind of a high-scoring game. When in doubt, take the home team. I'm going to take Broken Bow in this one.
Coach Littlejohn?
I'm gonna take the Cougs. I've got some good friends from Ada, so I'm gonna pick Ada on this one.
Swish?
Yeah, the Broken Bow's tough to go down there and play, but I'm going to go with Ada. I think they're just the better team.
All right, guys, our last pick of the night, Putnam City at Stillwater. Tom Nelson?
Stillwater showed why they are the top of the heap in 6A2 last week. I was at the game. The score is deceiving. The 21-14 win over Choctaw wasn't that close. It was 21-0 at the half. Choctaw made it interesting in the fourth quarter. But Nehemiah Coloni is the real deal, and he's surrounded by talent on the defensive side. They kept the Jackets off balance all night. I think they'll do the same to Putnam City. The Pioneers jump into the district driver's seat. They get a big win in this one.
Mark.
Hey, PC is good. I mean, they are good. They're tough up front. Deshaun Buford, transfer from Millwood. Turnbull also came over from Millwood. That's their quarterback. Roderick Sloan is a very, very good running back. So they're gonna challenge Stillwater, I think, especially stopping that RPO game that they've got. They can throw it to Sloan out of the backfield. But I think Stillwater is they're the team to beat. In this game, I think they're the team to beat in the class.
Coach Feely.
Another tough game here. I would say, Putnam City won last year 28-7. Stillwater had won the two previous games, and I just feel like another game where you got a little bit of a mental edge, and so I'm going to take Stillwater.
Coach Littlejohn.
Going with Stillwater as well.
Swish.
Yeah, credit Coach Alexander's done a great job. Putnam City, they're a great story early this season, and still, now that we're getting late, but Stillwater's just going to be too much. They're going to get the job done.
All right, that'll do it for us tonight on the picks. Thank you for joining us on the Squirtle Pater Pick'em Show. Be sure to tune into Squirtle.tv or the Squirtle app so you can watch the network games for free that we just discussed. Thanks as always to our sponsors. We had two great guests tonight, Coach Feely, Coach Littlejohn. Really appreciate both of you coming on. Best of luck to your Whippets and Spartans throughout the rest of the year. Oklahoma, hope you enjoy the football all this week. Michael Swisher hopefully will not be on the show anymore this year. We'll miss Tom. Probably won't miss Swish, but we'll see you back again next week.